Well, wasn't that teaser trailer exciting and informational? Wait, it wasn't exciting? And it didn't have any information? Well, fellow Planeswalkers, you're both right and wrong. While that teaser trailer wasn't super exciting by any means, it actually did give a bit of information on what could be coming out in the new set. So let me tell you the cards in Standard that I think you should be getting before the prices start skyrocketing! Hey everyone, it's NerdPhil, and today I'll be giving you my thoughts and my speculations on the cards and archetypes that I think you should be getting for Magic the Gathering before the new set comes out. Now, again, these are just my thoughts and speculations based on the story and based on what the internet has says and based on the patterns of the cards that have been coming out. But it's really important to know that cards tend to be at its lowest right before a new set comes out. Number 5. Zombie Synergy cards. Now, if you don't remember what happened in the world of Amonkhet, or if you don't read the Magic the Gathering lore, which you really should, it's actually pretty good. Nicol Bolas basically conquered Amonkhet with his army of Eternals, or aka zombies. Now, I don't think they'll be bringing back the Embalm or the Eternalized mechanic because, well, the creatures are already zombies, so they'll probably be a zombie creature type and another creature type. Now, zombie cards have always had pretty good tribal effects, and they've always had good effects regarding the graveyard. That means there are some cards in Standard right now that are super cheap regarding zombies that you should be getting before the previews even start hitting. There is Liliana, Untouched by Death. Now, this Planeswalker is going about $5 right now, which is pretty good for a Planeswalker card. And it's pretty cheap because the Golgari Zombies decks didn't really quite get there. Yeah, I know, we all wanted it to work, but it didn't. Now, the +1 ability is pretty good because it gets your zombies in the graveyard, potentially, and it does damage in the process. You can also use both her minus abilities the moment she hits the field. There's also Death Baron. Yeah, this card is going about $3 right now. That's extremely good for a powerful tribal effect like this. Death Touch and +1/+1 to all your zombies and skeletons. This card is insanely good for $3. And even if you think you're not going the whole zombie and you're going a zombie skeleton tribal-ish deck, still a perfect card to put it in. Now, this card was used back when Amonkhet and Hours of Devastation was still in Standard, so there's no reason why it shouldn't fit in a new type of zombie deck the moment more zombies come out. And there's Graveyard Marshal. This is going about for $1? Hey, am I reading that right? $1? This card? Yeah, 3/2 for a 2-drop. Really good stats already. And its ability isn't a tap ability, so you can use it right away if you have excess mana. And if you don't see yourself using the graveyard as much for whatever reason, this card becomes even better. There's other zombie cards to consider as well that are still in Standard. There's Diregraph Gruul, Josu Vess, Underrealm Lich, Midnight Reaper, and even Plague White. Even though it's a common, still a pretty good card. Now, these cards aren't going to get any cheaper, so you should probably get your copies now if you're even thinking about doing a zombie deck. Number 4, Dragon Synergy cards. Now, both Ugin and Sarkhan were both briefly seen in the teaser trailer on one of the glass stains. So there's a pretty decent shot that the Dragon cards are going to come out and they're going to be coming out in full force. Now, I don't think they'll be reprinting Ugin, but you know, you never know. Maybe he will come back to fight his twin brother. Yeah, they're twins, by the way. They don't look anything alike, but they're twins. Now, the only downside of playing Dragon cards is that they tend to be on the higher end of the curve, so it's really hard to play them all the time efficiently. But there's already a lot of good Dragon support cards and just good Dragons out in Standard right now, so these are cards that are definitely worth picking up, even right now. There's Sarkhan Fireblood. This card is going for about $7 to $8 right now. Now, I think you could wait just a little bit, and I think it could hit around the $6 mark, but even $8 for this card is a pretty good steal. The +1 ability allows you to ramp faster into your big dragons, and it also allows you to mitigate the cards you don't want in your hand for a potentially better card. And then there's Demanding Dragon, which is going for about 70 cents. Am I saying that right? 70 cents? Yes, this card is going for 70 cents, and it's not going to get any cheaper, probably. Now, if this card can be used in a variation of mono red decks, you better believe it can be used in a dragon deck. It's got really good stats on a single card. It's got evasion, and it makes the opponent make a relatively difficult decision depending what their board state looks like. And it's all on one body. you have Skargan Hellkite, which is going for about $6 right now. Now, I think this card could drop to around $5 because it wasn't used in the Mythic Championship and it wasn't used in any variation of mono red decks. But even $6 for a mini Glorybringer is a pretty good deal. Now, I say mini Glorybringer because I think Glorybringer is a little bit better than this card, but this card is still pretty good. This card is also a better 5-drop than Demanding Dragon, so if you're willing to pay a little bit more, go ahead and pick up these cards now. Or wait just a little bit right before previews start coming out. And there's a couple other dragon cards to consider. There's Dragon Egg if you're willing to wait a little bit and make your board state potentially bigger. You have Varric's Bladewing, which has also been pretty good in a mono red deck. And there's also your Elder Dragons if you think you're gonna splash a little bit out of red. Number 3, Nicol Bolas, the Ravager. Now, if War of the Spark is supposed to be the conclusion of the Nicol Bolas story, you better believe that his last card is gonna end with a big bang. No, not that big bang. Different. I was just making analogies, okay? The fact that you could potentially have 2 Nicol Bolas cards doing 2 Nikki B things sounds absolutely terrifying to play against. His M19 version has already seen play in Grixis type decks, and if he flips it over to his Planeswalker sides, you're probably gonna lose because he's gonna out-resource you or just steal all your stuff. He's a card that essentially has to be answered at some point in the game. Now, I don't think he's worth about $20 right now, especially because he didn't make a single appearance in the Mythic Championship. So I'd wait to see if maybe you can get him for around $15, but definitely get him before the previews start coming out, because you better believe that a strong Nicol Bolas card is probably going to come out. Number 2, Niv Mizzet Peru. Now, we all thought this card was bad for whatever reason we thought it was bad. Too hard to cast, we said. Not good enough ability, we said. Not worth the stats, we said. Yeah, we were really wrong on this card. Now, $5 for this card is a pretty good deal, seeing that you only need to play about 2 or 3. There are some decks that play 4, but most stick around the $2 to $3 range. Keep in mind that the Phoenix deck from Guilds of Ravnica is still sticking around for whatever reason. I mean, it's actually still really good and in a really explosive deck. Now, you better believe that this card is going to stick around because the Guilds of Ravnica Phoenix decks have still been sticking around. LSV used it in the Mythic Championship and he got 4th place. That's not bad for a card that hasn't changed since 2 sets ago. And to be quite honest, I think this deck is here to stay. It's still extremely consistent, it's really explosive, and it's just really hard to answer at certain points if you don't have the specific cards. Keep in mind, he also shares 2 colors with, you guessed it, the Nikki B, the big bad dragon himself. So he's probably going to be in the sideboard if someone makes some super broken Nicol Bolas deck. Now, this card is good against control and will remain to be good against control. The fact that it can't be countered speaks for itself, and it has another ability on top of that. So yeah, this card is here to stay for sure. Now, I don't think this card is going to drop below $5, so I'd really get your copies now before they start skyrocketing and before the Magic community finds a way to make this card even more broken, if it's even possible. Number 1, Carnage Tyrant. He's back! You know him as Carnage T or Carlos Tyrannos. Now, this card has been pushed aside because Golgari Midrange evolved into Sultai Midrange, and Carnage Tyrant got replaced by Hydroid Krasis. Now, just because this card got replaced doesn't mean he's a bad card. He's still really hard to answer, good against control, and hits hard, and sometimes even harder than Hydroid Krasis. Now, green Stompy decks, or variation of green X decks, have always been tier 2 decks, but there's still a lot of cards that make green Stompy decks very playable. You've got your Nullhide Ferox, Vivian Reed, Steel Leaf Champion, and a bunch more that I'm probably missing. Now, this card continues to drop and drop because Sultai Midrange has essentially pushed Carnage Tyrant out completely, even in the sideboard, which I think is a little bizarre, but I guess I see their understanding. I don't think it's going to be super dirt cheap by any means just because it's not in the main board. Now, because this card has been pushed aside, it's going to continue to drop. I'd venture to say it could maybe once again hit the lowest of $15 like it used to be back in the day. But even about $17 to $20 for this card is not a bad deal. Now, in every set, there's always been at least 1 or 2 green cards that have been really strong that somehow make it back into the meta. If it's not a creature, it's going to be a planeswalker. So again, get Carnage Turner as low as possible before he starts skyrocketing again. So let me know what cards or what archetypes you think are going to show up in the next set. I'm really excited to see Standard shake up once again and take down the new King of the Crown, Mono Blue. Also, let me know what you think you're going to brew in the next Standard set. I'm really excited to see what everyone's new fun decks are going to be. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share it. All of that helps the channel grow and it helps me pour out more content to you guys. I'll see you next time for your NerdPhil on Ravnica.